Panie i panowie, z katowickiego Spodka, z turnieju Intel Extreme Masters zapraszamy na wielki finał turnieju League of Legends!
For those of you tuning in around the world, welcome to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. This is the grand final. Crowd here are so good. They cheer when I speak in English or when he speaks in Polish. It's fantastic. Okay, I think we're going to have one of the great games. Two fantastic teams have fought their way through here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Katowice, and they are as follows. Please welcome to the stage, Azubu Blaze!
A teraz prosto z Moskwy powitajcie Gambit Gaming! Aplauz! You are playing good.
So, we have our finalists. They're ready to rock and roll. You're ready to rock and roll, so let's get this grand final on. One more time for Azubu Blaze and Gambit Gaming. And before we do that, let's dissect every little detail about how this might go down. Here's your experts. It's Jason and, of course, Panky.
Welcome back to the Extras Desk. Yes, this is the grand final, Panky, and we have to keep this in mind. Gambit Gaming is the defending winners of IEM.
Defending IEM champions. They won the last series, season 6 back in Hanover. They won the last Kiev. That was the first event in 2012. This is the first of 2013. Got to keep that precedence up, and they definitely have the fan support.
Yeah, you guys heard it there when they were walking in. The crowd was going crazy. They were chanting Gambit. I might have done it a little bit too as well. A little bit.
He was banging the desk and everything.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyways, Panky, what do you think we're going to expect here? Because we saw Blaze, we saw Gambit playing against each other day one, and it was not pretty.
It was not pretty. It was very one-sided. But it was also a very different Gambit team back then. They've done something over the last couple of days. I don't know what it is, but it's working.
Yep, and we saw actually Flame in the top lane playing Olaf just decimate the entire team. And a little bit of a tidbit for you, Olaf has been picked or banned this entire tournament so far. Wouldn't be surprised if it didn't change at all throughout this best of 3.
He's a little bit strong.
A little bit. Yeah. All right, well, what bans you kind of expect we're going to see besides that Olaf? I mean, we did see Lee Sin. We saw a missed ban, but we're all assuming it was actually Shen since he wasn't picked. And then Evelyn out of Blaze, and we saw Elise, Cho'Gath, and Nunu out of Gambit.
We got Shen, Evelyn, those will be in there, or left picked or banned, Kha'Zix, Twisted Fate.
Yeah, I mean, we saw out such as Kha'Zix's last game was, actually, when the last best of 3 was insane. It completely won them that game number 1. And we'll see if that actually gets taken away from them in this best of 3 here. As
I want to see something we haven't seen yet too. There's something in there. I mean, I expect it will come from Gambit if we do. Blaze will play stuff we've seen before, slow, steady, methodical, dismantle this Gambit team. Gambit, I mean, the last couple of days we've seen 2 new things out of them just in that semi-final. Maybe something else up their sleeve, maybe something new.
Yeah, and Gambit actually will be on the blue side, so it kind of gives them that little bit of an advantage if they want to use it. I mean, we saw actually in day 1, the blue side won 5 out of the 6 matches, and the only win was actually Blaze beating Curse on the off stage.
There's also the fact that Blaze now, they're out to defend their sister team's honor. Frost got taken down 2-0. So it wasn't a full best of 3. It was a quick, easy win as far as Gambit.
I wouldn't say easy.
Yes, it wasn't easy, but it was a relatively quick win as opposed to the other semi that went to full 3 games. So they've got to win it for Frost too. So they've got the drive of their teammates behind them, the drive of their sister team. And they're also going to be in the crowd, in the VIP section of things, cheering their team on. We have Fnatic, we just saw there, Fnatic and Anguish from Millennium sitting in the crowd, cheering as well. So the European pride on the line here for Moscow 5. They're arguably the home team, but Blaze are still very strong. They still have a lot of fans, a lot of support, and a lot of skill. That's the other thing. We've said it over and over again, we've iterated it, but the way these Korean guys train, the way they practice, the way they play, it's just 90% perfect in every game. The trick is finding those little cracks, finding those moments where they're just not quite ready, where they're slipping up, or where they're trying to get in position for that perfect little play and get them before it happens. But Gambit, with that really aggressive play in the semi-final, with the old school Gender, as people were calling it, getting in your face, soloing down Mad Life with that Oracles a couple of times, shutting down Mad Life Blitzcrank, giving it to him, but not letting him land any grabs, split pushing away that Nivea. That final fight pushing to the base was horrible trying to do the camera. They were in every lane. Just
you were having fun with that.
Over and over again. And Diamond Prox was just on that turret. He said at the end, didn't care Nivea was on it, didn't care Cho'Gath was coming, just kept hitting the turret and hitting the turret. Popped his ultimate, pushing away, hitting the turret, and as soon as it died, Frost just crumbled.
Yeah, that full-on aggression definitely did a lot of work. I mean, we did see Gambit and Blaze previously before this event actually play an IPL 5 where Gambit knocked them out 2-1. And we'll see if that can happen yet again. I mean, Blaze, they want to defend their honor on this because they beat them in day 1. They lost them in IPL 5. They want to take this win and take first place here. You see, I mean, Gambit, they look, as you're on your screens, they look really calm and confident.
And they will be kind of confident. They've done this time and time again. They've done this at World Finals. They've played against not quite all these teams here. They've obviously different brackets, different groups, different tournaments. They're slightly different, but they've seen them. Everyone's seen them. They've played against a huge range of players, and they're just in their element. This is what they do. This is their job. This is what they do day in, day out, and they do it so well.
Do you think we're going to see actually Genjo playing Ezreal yet again? He played it in both of those games in that series. During the first day, he played some Misfortune. He played a couple of other champions. I mean, this Ezreal was pretty much unstoppable, just like you're saying. He was so aggressive. He dodged all those hooks with that Arcane Shift. That bot lane alone just could not be beat. We do have all the teams, or actually both teams, getting back into the game so we can start this ban and pick phase. And Panky, I am actually really excited because, we saw on Reddit, we saw on Twitter that people were, in the last episode, they were rooting for, Gambit, but they thought Frost would win it. And now everyone at home is all rooting for Gambit Gaming to win this.
Yeah, as you said, the crowd favour was there. There was some cheers for Blaze. There was some fans in the crowd. There always will be. They are a great team. But as soon as Gambit came out, this place exploded. Chants, cheers, claps, screams, signs, thundersticks. They
screamed a little bit.
Everywhere. I squealed. Everything was squeal when they came out the tunnel.
Yeah, and it looks like we will get that ban and picks underway in just a second. And Gambit, I mean, they have a little bit of pressure. I mean, yeah, they look calm, they look collected, but like we were saying before, defending their title against none other than Azubu Blaze. I mean, they are a top team in the world easily. Gambit obviously, qualified for Season 3 already. They won that Gamescom. They placed decently well in the World Finals. They lost to TPA, but we are in the picks and bans now. And let's see what Gambit takes away from Azubu Blaze right off the bat.
When you look at what we've seen in previous games, we've got Olaf, Evelyn, Chen, Kale, Twisted Fate, a lot of different bans there, Blitzcrank, Cho'Gath, and we just seen a Mumu ban a couple of times as well. Kha'Zix has been there, although more often than not, he's actually been left open in the last couple of games and picked by one team or another. However, after seeing what Gambit did in that first semi-final game, I've been very surprised to see Blaze leave that open. They have banned that Olaf straight away. They banned Diamond Prox's Lee Sin too as well. There's that Kha'Zix ban, unsurprising also. What it is surprising is that Caitlyn. Misfortune we saw again in the semi-finals from Gambit. They took her away, but Caitlyn, they first picked her Fnatic first picked her in their semi-final. Gambit, they haven't really used her, but she's very, very powerful. Why they banned her? Maybe they want to go for some kind of lane switch strategy, of which Caitlyn Lulu, we've seen time and time again, shut down some lane switches. Maybe there's something else there.
Yeah, they did run Caitlyn Lulu against them, and maybe it's just something they don't want to really go up against. Like you're saying, the lane switch is very devastating to them. They used it in that last game a little bit, as we do have, looks like Evelyn being logged in as the first pick, so we are going to finally see Alex playing that champion. And immediately Azubu responds with that Rise pick, which Alex did so well with those teleports.
We've seen Soaz try it, we've seen Rapid Star try it, Evelyn. Only today has she been played, she's been banned all weekend, but only today did she actually get to see any playtime. And it didn't really work out, never did what she wanted to do. She got to the back of the fight, popped those abilities, but she just died too quickly. Is Alex about to show us exactly what you do with her? Is he going to show us how she works? We're about to find out because Flame has picked for Ambition, most likely, that Rise, which we saw Alex do in the last game, his favourite champion, his pro player pick champion. So we're going to see whether he does that. And of course, Alex ran in with a teleport, so there's that option still there for Ambition as well. They did get that shed nice and early on, as again, unsurprising, we saw him banned throughout, saw him first picked a couple of times. He is still a solid champion, whether in the jungle or the top lane, and that global presence is a very powerful thing to have.
And looking at the stats real quick, I mean, Shan's been banned 3 times, picked 5 times, about 66% of the games so far. And I mean, you really can't let Blaze have Shen. They're so good with him, but we do see that Mundo locked in, which was played against him actually in game number 1, or sorry, in day 1. And then we see that Ezreal again coming out again. I'm just gonna see, we're all gonna see how well he's gonna do this game. And now, I was about to say Kog'Maw. Doesn't really seem like they'd actually go for that, but they will be sitting on that Cho'Gath, which, you know, in these playoffs actually has been kind of a highly contested pick.
Yeah, we saw Helios playing that Mundo against Diamond Proxy's Azubu and shutting him down very, very aggressively in those first games in their group stage, in the very first game of the weekend, which was what was a real pain in the side of Gambit Gaming. Captain Jack is sitting on that Kog'Maw now. Ambition picked up that Nunu. That will be a support AD carry bottom lane. It's a very powerful combo. That Blood Boil giving him so much attack speed, allowing him to build some early damage instead of the attack speed items. And with these W proc in his range, he can start to tear through the tanky players. And in this case, Mundo on that Gambit Gaming lineup.
Yeah, I think they'll be doing a lot of damage. And they have that strong tanky front line with that Rise. I mean, you're going to try to get back there. We do see Alex just actually pop up behind him with that Evelyn. You're going to immediately snare him, taunt him, and blow him up like we just saw Gambit Gaming do against Frost. We are going to need some sort of, I don't know, just some sort of assassin, it seems like. Yeah, Evelyn is, but Gambit needs to be able to get into that backline. We saw Fnatic have such a hard time against Frost, or against Blaze, sorry, in the earlier best of 3. And let's see if Gambit can actually do something that Fnatic could not. That Sona's still being side on Ghost of Pepper, or Edward. Favorite champion. I mean, he's so good with that Sony. He always runs that Knight typically and picks up so many kills. And we might see that, that Renekton getting locked in against. We'll have that Darren in the top lane with him. Played exceptionally well with him, you know, well, today. Obviously, the first day wasn't that good.
Yeah, it didn't really work out for him that time around, but today he's been incredible. And just shutting down lanes and taking it through the late game and getting very, very tanky, using all his abilities, using his shreds, using his AoE, using his stun to great effect, killing ward after ward. Using
that was amazing.
Damage proc, which can be ridiculously powerful in its own right. But we do see Edward locking in that Sono, so he's going to keep that. He's going to have that Ezreal lane. It's going to be very high on poke damage. Keeping his Ignite wouldn't surprise me, as you say. We've seen him take kills with it before, and he's obviously not always
he's securing the kills.
To have the Ignite on that support can be very, very useful. Allows the AD carry to take something a bit more defensive. Not the end of the order. Support dies all the time, so long as they get a kill in the process, or 1-for-1 trade where an AD carry dies and the support dies, it's always going to be better for the team that gets the AD carry kill instead. So we'll see that. And obviously they're going to switch it around to Genjo as he gets his last pick locked in from Lusty Bite. If this goes, that'll be our first Vladimir of the weekend across the board. No picks, no bans until this moment. And it does look like it's staying there.
If I'm not mistaken, Vladimir is actually banned out against them in IPL 5.
That sounds about right from what we saw earlier.
Yeah, but we will see. It looks like Ambition with his Rise going to have Flash Teleport, just like we saw Alex Ich doing. Going to kind of give him a taste of his own medicine here. And who do you really have to take this game? Because in my opinion, Gambit has a stronger early game, especially with that Renekton, especially with you know, the other team having Kog'Maw. But obviously, as Kog'Maw gets more fed, the game kind of drags on. He's going to be unstoppable.
Yeah, Azubu have that late game. Vladimir's just going to get stronger. Shen's just going to get stronger. Rise is just going to get stronger. Kog'Maw's just going to get stronger and stronger. But, I mean, it's not always going to be late game before that happens. They can be powerful in mid-game. They can be powerful in the early team fights, the Dragon contest. Once they start to group up and be 5v5 engages, Gambit's strength is going to come from the roaming Evelyn, the power of Diamond Proxy's aggressive Mundo, getting in and weeding out those cracks in Azubu's line, dodging through the wards, clearing that and ganking onto the Darien lane, which is going to be very strong in the early levels. Flame is going to have to be quite careful because, yes, he's got the range to farm, but he's not very safe early on. Vladimir suffers a lot to gap closer champions. Darien has a gap closer. Darien is a very powerful early game champion. If Mundo comes in to help out, Flame could be in a little bit of trouble.
I was actually mistaken. Vladimir was not banned out against them in that, so a little bit of my bad there. But, you know, Panky, where's the action going to go down? Which lane do you think is going to be the key lane to watch and the key lane for each team?
Considering how much they've been swapping them backwards and forwards, I don't want to know just yet. They could still go anywhere, but it's going to be a case of watching this Rise, watching this Evelyn, watching her roam, watching how he follows, whether he initiates to roam, and which one of them is more effective in their pushing and shoving as the other leaves the lane. It's going to set the pace of how this game goes. And, of course, yet to see Evelyn work in team fights. Alex has to show us that she can still do that in this patch.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to do a lot better than we currently saw in that first game against Frost here. But we're going to go ahead and pass it over to Jad, Demon, and Joe. Take this game number 1 of the Grand Finals away.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice Grand Finals. It's Azubu Blaze versus Gambit Gaming. Who would have called it at the start of the day? Azubu Blaze seem pretty happy with their picks, I feel, here. Meanwhile, Gambit Gaming, with the cheers for Gambit, they are certainly going to be the home crowd favourite, the one remaining team in Europe. You can hear the crowd. They want Gambit to win this one. The question is, Joe, can they?
I think anything's possible after they just 2-0'd Azubu Frost. I mean, they looked so good, and this could be already very early on here. Some interesting action, Ambition around the corner. Is someone going to peek out? Yes, it's Edward who shows himself there. Shen was actually coming in from that top side as well, and I think that might be all she wrote for level 1.
Everybody backs away, so Ambition on Rise, something he's been on a lot. I was kind of wondering whether we were going to see Helios coming out on anything other than Shen. It was Flame that was picked up. We expected a different jungler. We were thinking maybe Cho'Gath or Nocturne, but no, Helios did go for Shen.
It was one of those strange things because in their huge 10-game set between Azubu, Frost in the OGN, they picked Shen a couple times, but only played him top lane. So we figured that Flame was going to be the Shen player, and Helios doesn't have really recorded experience on jungle Shen, so they really threw a curveball. I wonder if Gambit got caught off guard by it.
Yeah, they caught us off guard with Frost's builds earlier on. And of course, Blaze, they pulled out the Taric earlier on, Taric Urgot, which kind of we thought may well make an appearance in one of these games. Maybe it will do, but not in this game. So Helios starts off, takes the blue duo lanes both down bottom, and the top lanes set themselves out. Renekton versus Vladimir in the top, Evelyn versus Rise in the mid, and down the bottom here, Gosu Pepper getting pinged out, has just warded up the dragon, comes down, gets a little poke on Captain Jack. So I expect Edward and Genja to try and lay the pressure early on towards this new Cogmore company, because we know that pairing can be incredibly strong when we get towards the late game, Joe.
So Alex Each there just taking a bit of damage down in the bottom lane, though. Captain Jack going very low, but they can't quite find that finisher, and that would have been the dream start. Imagine that Ezreal getting in there for first blood.
And that's just Genja and Edward carrying through the aggression from the previous set. That's not something we would have usually seen from Genja 6 months ago, even 2 months ago. They're really going hard here.
Definitely turning the aggression on Genja. And they try not to all back off there. Captain Jack had to go back, of course, but Lustboy stuck around. Instead, we're going to continue. Are they going to lose this massive wave of farm? It's going to lose a fair bit of it. Don't think it's going to be too much so, but both duo laners, are they going to go back? We see Genja was recalling. No, they're going to stick around and try and keep the pressure on towards the turret. This turret is going to get shredded a great deal, at least a third of the health taken off already. Top lane, well, you can see Flame being taken down very low by Darian, so strong. We've seen him already. You know, we talked about Renekton earlier on, saying, you know, he generally loses with it, but he's played brilliantly. Maybe it's one of the champions he's just gone back to the drawing board. You remember back to the Yorick he used in Season 2, and everyone was like, why didn't he use something different?
At this point, it's comfort for him, right? Because he's played it so much, and he must have just rededicated himself to making this champion work, especially in the very first game. Something we missed to point out is the armor shred on his Slice and Dice second proc was great with their all-physical team.
This is going to cause a problem here. We're going to see two junglers coming in, Joe. They're going to both dive in towards Flame.
They're going in towards Flame. Who's going to pull up here? They had no idea. I think the Helios was actually there. The taunt comes down, but Helios was stunned as well, and a bit of a flat ending to that little encounter there. Both players kind of just like, meh, okay, well, that's what happened there with that one. But they could put some good pressure down on so we can see down in the bottom lane, Captain Jack certainly not healthy, but that range Genja needs to be a little bit cautious of. And as you talked about earlier, Jack, I mean, Genja is not normally the aggressive player. As Alex Itchia is going to go in on towards Ambition, but can't quite find the finisher. But yeah, my point was it's Edward that was the aggressive one, always flashing in for kills and ridiculous things like that. But Genja, to be honest, the way that he's played today, this aggressive style has really helped Gambit out.
And I think a lot of it has to do with him playing Ezreal so much in these circumstances, because he can be just as aggressive but still defensive as the teleport comes in bottom.
Well, Ambition teleports it in. He's going to have to flash and try and drive something in. It's going to be Edward they go for, but look at Genja turning the aggression towards Ambition. The Ignite going down. Now he's on towards Captain Jack. Here comes Diamond Props around the side. They're going to get up towards Captain Jack. It's going to be first blood. Captain Jack goes down. Alex is coming around the side. now. He's going to push away. They're going to go in towards Ambition. Evelyn comes around. Alex tries to put the damage down. Edward picks up the kill. Now they're on towards Lustboy. Alex is going to continue chasing this one. Has he got the damage? No, but it doesn't matter. It's a 2-0. Great start.
And this is like what happened in the second game just previously between Azubu Frost. They got a double kill under this turret, and from there, Genja and Edward just ran away with the lane.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible because, again, they had this false sense of security somehow. That they thought, oh, well, it's going to be 3-on-2 down there. They come in, then you get Alex Ich coming around the back. But that gives us a brilliant start for Gambit Gaming. 1 kill going in for Mundo. Yeah, 1 on Sona. We talk about, ideally that would have gone to the AD carry, but kills the kill and it'll just get Edward rolling that bit faster.
Well, you can see Darian getting the stun down on Flame. He's starting to be brutal on that top lane. Flame, of course, is not going to be too strong on Vlad until he starts to build up a bit. But that bottom turret, the bottom turret is almost gone already. They've put so much damage down on it, and they're bullying that bottom lane. Flame again getting caught out there. Darian continuing to punish. Mid lane, we're also seeing Ambition getting a little damage on him from Alex Ich once again. Ambition having to use his ultimate to just keep him away. I tell a lie, he hasn't even got his ultimate yet. He was just pinging the bouncing around. But this bottom lane, Genja, is just so aggressive right now.
Alex and Diamond Prox are coming around for another dive. If they don't ditch the turret right now, they're going to get double killed.
Here we go then. This is bad news. Ultimate comes down. There's the first one. Captain Jack low. Captain Jack's dead. A double kill for Edward. 3-0-1. An irony of when we're talking about him flashing in for kills, he is now just picked up a double.
He's done it again. 3 times.
Scumbag Basu Pepper.
He may as well just start getting AD and just go for it. Why not? But as it stands, they are going to keep a great big creep wave of pressure on there. They're going to steal away the blue buff now because they realise that Helios, he's having to defend the turret down the bottom there. So Genja is going to come around with Edward to steal away the blue buff, and that goes across the Diamond Prox.
I'm surprised you didn't take blue buff on Sona as well. I mean, he has all the kills. He may as well have gotten it.
Well, Dragon is the next target. They've got 3 men there. Evelyn's in the middle lane should they need Alex to come down there, but it won't be needed, to be honest. There's no vision there whatsoever. 7 minutes, 40 seconds, Dragon for Gambit.
In all honesty, Edward getting those 3 kills is actually really bad for them, but I think they have enough advantages, crushing down Captain Jack twice, keeping him at 22 mini kills, having the turret a couple hits away, and taking the Dragon. They might get away with it, in all honesty.
Genja being aggressive straight away once again. Back in towards the middle. Alex is getting a little bit of damage on it from Ambition there. A little too close to the turret to start fighting him. Immediately prisons him up there. Bottom lane, also Genja having to back away. He lost a lot of health down the bottom there, so finally Captain Jack trying to turn the tables on him as best he can. Gosu Pepper returning to lane, or Edward, whatever you'd like to call yourself these days. Or Edward, I should say. Space it out nicely. Went and spent a nice chunk of gold there, get himself a heart of gold. Well, maybe he's thinking of trying to get a heart of gold, but then he'd be in the wrong season.
Good recovery, Demon.
Thanks.
I was wondering where you were going with that one.
I could see your quizzical looks to me there, Jared.
Thought you were trying to troll me. But we're just seeing Darian actually come down into this middle lane as well. Just going to force Ambition away. His teleport will be up fairly shortly for that one, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that front. Let's have a quick look through the CS and how it stands now that we've got a bit of a quieter period. We have in that top lane 46 for Renekton, 54 for Vladimir. So far so good from Flame's side of things there. In the jungle pretty much bang even. Middle lane, Evelyn a little bit behind, which you can expect since he's been down into that bottom lane a couple of times. AD carries where that big difference is though. 51 to 32, 4 assists on Ezreal. Should probably have been 3 kills on Ezreal.
They were trying to get Captain Jack there involved to try and help him out. He came up to the mid lane. Instead, they've stacked 3 members in the mid lane. They realise that bottom turret is under pressure, so they're trying to create some pressure of their own. Captain Jack, though, is going to try and come in there, but Corpora Mundo of Diamond Prox flinging out those briefcases. Edward is going to come around the side as well. Has got Crescendo available should he require it. Gets that poke down and just defends off the turret. Meanwhile, that giant creep wave, that is going to take down the bottom turret all on its own. It's going to be the first turret of the game for Gambit Gaming. Up the top here, it's going to be Stan United coming on towards the Azubu Flame, and they're going to try and catch on towards him. Darian is going to go down here. Helios is taking a lot of turrets here. He might get dropped. The turret turns back onto him. He does get it. Can he turn the return? No! He cannot teleport. Oh, here comes Evelyn. Alex is going to get up towards Helios. Is he going to be in time? He needs to run the damage down just in time. Catches him out there. And Gambit just make the recovery.
A little bit ropey there with that one coming in, but kill secured, and that's it.
You can just see the momentum that Gambit has from the first game, carrying them through.
Yeah.
Same start as they had last game, same confidence, same savvy that they're playing with, and they have the pressure. In the game that Azubu Blaze played against Fnatic, they were just pressuring them all over the map. It's almost a complete opposite watching this one.
And the top lane's under pressure as well. See Darian continuing to pressure on towards that turret. He's got Siege Minion in there. They're just putting pressure all across the map. This is what we're so used to seeing the Azubus do. Gambit, they were famous for being so aggressive, and it seems to be back in their favor. They have things working out. Look at that. Darian going back in that Hextech Blade as well. And well, as it stands, they are just looking so strong here. The momentum, as I mentioned it before, if they were to beat Azubu Frost, was definitely going to carry them through. Meanwhile, this top lane, you can see Flame getting pressured once again by Darian, building perfectly against that lane. He's happy to tank this one through at the moment. Flame, though, up to level 9 on Vladimir. He'll start gaining the strength. Look at that immediately. We're seeing the Giants belts everywhere once again from the Koreans.
And look at the build difference between Genja and Captain Jack right now. It's a Doran's Blade and a longsword versus a BF sword, a pickaxe, and a Doran's Blade. That's not even remotely comparable. This time they smell Alexich coming and just completely back away, but Captain Jack is getting completely denied here. He's level 5, almost 12 minutes into the game on Kog'Maw.
And Genja is level 8. That just shows the difference. Alex, you're going to be careful. You can't 3v1. He is going to back away Ambition in that mid lane. Edward doing the poking. Edward doing the tower pushing right now. And why not? You know, if 3-0-1 support, maybe stealing a little bit too much away, but again, just getting all the free farm down that bottom lane. He's keeping it up. Look at the CS, 83 to 47. It is a huge disparity between those two.
Yeah, and this Kog'Maw seriously behind here, wondering how they're going to be able to catch this one up, because it just means that it's going to take Captain Jack so much longer to get to that state where, you know, you want your Kog'Maw to be, where he can do that mass amount of damage, which is not going to come too early in this game. We can see there are 3 men in the middle, causing a couple of problems for Gambit, but with Diamond Procs coming in now, they could want to change this around. Ezreal coming up from that bottom lane as well. Top laners are still bashing each other's face in up there, but you know, this is 4 versus 4 in the middle, and we'll see if they're able to take a turret.
Well, we can see Genja's actually just around the side. Trishop Barrage rattles across the entire team. Captain Jack take it down very low. That's going to offer them some damage on towards the turret. They also have blue buff available to him, which it looks like Genja's going around to steal here. Yes, he is. Genja is on the blue buff while the rest of the team are completely kept occupied on this mid lane, and that is going to be Diamond Procs moving in. He's had to flash away though, popped his ultimate. They are going to take the blue buff away, and now they're just keeping poking. It was all just buying time for Genja.
Really, really nicely done there by Gambit, and that's, you know, one more piece of the puzzle complete for them. 18.8 to 14.7 thousand gold, 5 running lead, turrets in their favor as well.
And even though there's so many positive things going for Gambit Gaming as they dive Captain Jack.
Flash through there, Stan United comes out, but Genja might be able to take him down. Yes, he will. Now you can see Alexich, he's going to try and get away from this one. Shadow Dash, is it going to be enough? No, it is not. I was about to say the only saving grace at the game right now is Flame on that top lane. He is out farming Darian. He's trying to keep into it, but the rest of his team, the lanes are just being obliterated.
And the other thing that might be a saving grace for Azubu as Gambit takes yet another dragon is Azubu's late game team comp, if they can somehow get there, is incredible. It is beyond good at this point, but if they fall behind anymore, they're just going to lose it before they get there.
96 to 53 CS. They're finally a kill coming down for Genja after it was Edward who took them all away from him before.
It's only because Edward wasn't there.
Yeah, I was going to say that would have been Edward's 4th kill of this one if he was actually somewhere close enough. And he had his flash and his ignite available, so he definitely would have gone for that one right underneath the tower. But yeah, Genja in this middle lane now, again just pushing those creeps out, and he's really scary with that blue buff on as well. Can be throwing those W's, Q's out there. And yeah, he's straight in there, not messing around at all.
This is very aggressive Genja stuff here. Of course, he has that blue buff, so he's just going to keep on piling the pressure. He now has Alexich alongside him. They're just keeping on towards that turret. Ambition having to back off. The next creep wave, they may well get some more poke on towards it. Lustboy putting the wards down in the bush. While this is all happening though, Captain Jack is off the side. He's getting a lot of free farm. He's had about 3 waves of creep so far, which is slowly but surely starting to gain him a little bit back on him. But we're going to see an Infinity Edge coming out very soon by Genja. The middle turret is going to go down. Gambit Gaming 2-0 up in turrets right now.
Yeah, one interesting thing to look at as well is the fact that Look how many wards
diving
are
in.
actually down. They are going to dive in on towards Flame here. He's going to pull, but Diamond, full HP, goes straight in there. Darian's going to join the party here as well. This is going to be a kill. Tried to steal it there with a true shot barrage. Didn't get the steal, but they've got that kill settled in. 7-1. They may even be able to get this top turret down with Alex and Edward both coming in.
Yeah, they are coming in. Azubu only have Helios up there. They're going to try and push the mid lane though. Again, just trying to just bait them towards the side. Bottom lane's also being pushed by Captain Jack. He's going to back off. Top lane's being pressured still by Alex Ich. Helios. There's Edward getting the poke on towards that turret. They keep hitting it slowly, but surely it is going down. And this could be the third turret of the game. I don't think they're going to pick it up this time around, but it's very close though.
And I just got to point out, for the third game in a row, Alex Ich has really gotten a boot upgrade extremely fast. Home guard boots already acquired on Evelyn, so he's just making sure that as soon as he goes missing, he can go shop and appear almost anywhere. They might go in for the dive here.
Crescendo goes down as well, but here comes Ambition to this top lane. Helios was burning, but it just wasn't quite enough. That teleport was enough to scare him off.
Was enough, and Helios taken very low there. Alex Ich, I think it was just reactionary. They baited on towards Gosu Pepper, and he just went, you know what, I'm going to turn around and crescendo you in the face. And Darian, meanwhile, continuing to farm bottom lane. Flame tries to return to lane, but immediately shreds half his health off. And they're just keeping the pressure on. Genja, it's just laying down so much pressure in that mid lane that they just can't deal with him. They just don't know what to do at the moment. Azubu seems to be caught off the foot here. Gambit Gaming just keeping the pressure down.
Yeah, and look how many wards that Azubu were forced to put down here because they've lost that outer turret in the middle. They need to keep tracks on his Ezreal basically because he's playing that aggressive that he could just be appearing everywhere. And that's a lot of money in wards considering how far behind they are.
Well, it's also Alex Ich on Evelyn. You know, Evelyn is a roamer. Yeah. That is his job. But he's got nowhere to roam at the moment because every single lane is pushed. And Azubu are just trying to fight the way out of this one. Tank it up. Farm it out, do what they can. Captain Jack, you see he got that GP10, got that average blade. He's going to continue farming. We did see him having this earlier on when he was up against it. And we saw against Fnatic, they are not unbeatable. They can be taken down. Fnatic took them for a really good run for their money. See the gain up the top. Darian just keeping that pressure on towards Flame. He's got a giant wave coming in this time, but it's bottom lane they're piling in towards, and it is going to be Captain Jack. He's going to get singled out. Diamond was thinking of going around the bottom there. Instead, they're just going to let him back away. Still, the top lane, where he's going very deep in the top lane there. Darian might get caught out. Captain Jack's also in trouble down the bottom. Darian, though, could get taken down here. Azubu should finish him off. He's going to slice and dice his way through and make the escape. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, now you can see Genja with Ambition. They're poking back and forward.
And you can see the pressure accumulating across every lane once again for Gambit Gaming. We were talking before the day, actually, and everyone was expecting both the Zubus in the final. No one was expecting Gambit Gaming to potentially take out both of them. This was probably the least expected outcome of all of them, if we had to guess. And that, getting back to that escape that Darian threw top lane with Renekton, Flame has a Warmog's armor straight up on Vladimir, so it's going to take him a while before he can ramp up his damage. That's one of the reasons Renekton was able to escape so well.
Right now, Renekton just going up into this top lane and keeping that one as healthy as possible, down to around about half HP. Bottom is being pushed out here as well. We can actually see another Giant's Belt there in for Shen as well, and they may even just go straight in and try and take down this turret. I mean, they've got it when Ezreal's there. There's not a lot, I think, that Blaze can do about that.
And there it is, Gambit taking away the wolves, they've taken away the blue, they've taken away the red, they're just taking away every little piece of Azubu Blaze, any little jungle they can get. There's the third turret going down. It's 3-0. They're going in towards Ambition. True shot barrage comes across. Alex is trying to finish this one off. Genja's getting on there, but again, Stand United from Helios just surviving, helping them. There's been so many close fights so far. They let Shen through. We thought this may be a mistake, but clearly Gambit Gaming have an answer for everything that the Koreans have been throwing at them so far, and this middle turret may well go down. It's the fourth turret of the game. It's an inner turret. Now they're going in towards Helios. Helios taking down Crescendo, comes across. Helios gets dropped, and now Lustboy's the target. Flame's going to come around the side. Flame may get picked off. The damage being put across the board. He pops his Hemoplague. Is it going to be enough? No, because there's not a lot of damage coming out from Flame at all. Ambition gets on towards Genja. Genja with no mana. They're going to back away from this one and take the dragon. 8-1, currently Gambit Gaming.
And even though Genja had no mana, he was just brawling with Ambition. He knew he had the lifesteal and the team behind him that would force Azubu to back off. That was another fight they won very, very well. This lead is just ballooning beyond absurdity. 10,000 gold at 20 minutes is a romp.
It's a ridiculous amount, isn't it? I mean, 4-0 in the turrets there as well. 8-1. Dragons all going over towards Gambit. And I mean, this Kog'Maw, if you just look at the items there, Bloodthirst, the Last Whisper, Merc Treads and Endurance Blade, compare that with then a Zeal, an Avarice Blade, and a Vamp Scepter with a Berserker Greaves in there. Like, there's no comparison whatsoever in this one. He's currently almost 60 CS behind from that one. Top lane, yeah, Shy is in the lead, but that's one of the only areas.
Well, we see them diving up towards the top lane now. They're going to be running through. Are they going straight in towards the Baron Pit? Darien is going to clear that one out. He could slice and dice up towards Flame at the moment in that top lane. Alexic is collapsing in. Genji's coming around the side as well. He's going to land his arcane shot straight away. Flame is not getting out of this one. He can pull, can do what the heck he likes, but he's not going to escape there. It is buying time though in the mid lane. We can see Azubu trying to pressure in towards that mid lane, try and pick up their first turret of the game, but here comes Diamond, here comes Darien. They're collapsing in from the top as well. Everybody's chasing down and Azubu forced to back away again.
Just the pure presence there of Gambit forces them off, and look at this. They are starting the Baron at 21 minutes and 30 seconds. Who would have thought that we would see this kind of domination coming out of Gambit after game one, or even this morning before they'd done that to Frost, beating them 2-0. Baron is now very, very low and is going to be finished off. That is brilliant play, and they may just go over the top. Here comes Genja on towards Helios. Can they lock him down? Yes, they certainly can with Renekton in there. Stun goes in. Can Genja get the kill onto this one? Rest of the team coming around. Oh, it's going to be a big one. True Shot Barrage comes across. Crescendo didn't land, but it doesn't make that much difference because they're pushing all the way through, trying to pick up these kills here. Alex, who needs to be careful he doesn't overextend on this one. Darien is in on towards Flame. Emo Plague has gone down, and that may just force Gambit to back away somewhat, but they can tank the turret.
And this is just total domination. What did they do in the last 2 days to improve from the team that went 1-2 in the group stage to winning 3 games in a row against Azubu Frost and now Azubu Blaze? They're just looking to tutorial style it, take all the outer turrets, get their gold lead even bigger. Baron buff has forever left. They're just pushing.
You know, so many times at tournaments I've heard, it's a surrender
Wow.
vote. 22 minutes in, a surrender vote from Azubu Blaze. They realize they cannot take it away, and it is 1-0 for GG. Wow, fantastic stuff. What they've done in 2 days, I don't know, but it is working.
They've taken the oil from that well-oiled machine. It's not so well-oiled right now. Or maybe it is, and Gambit are just so incredibly good because that is just flawless stuff here. The crowd going crazy for them. Obviously, we've got no Polish team left in the tournament, and they're going to be the next best here. The crowd absolutely loving this one, but what an amazing show of skill from Gambit.
The sneaky thing about that was they mind gamed Azubu so much into banning Lee Sin and Xin that they just got Evelynn. I mean, Azubu, Frost, and Blaze, when they played their OGN, Evelynn was never played unless it was blind pick. That was crazy stuff.
Crazy, crazy stuff, and you can see Gambit on your screen. And well, 1-0 up in the grand finals. The defending champions, the world champions of the Intel Extreme Masters, they were disappointed with themselves. They thought they had the Season 2 finals wrapped up. They were going in so super confident. Azubu Blaze, they went out early in the IPL 5. I think they ended up getting 7th, 8th joint. It was Moscow 5, I believe, that put them there.
Yeah.
And could they do it again? The Korean team are just having the discussions. You can see the manager in there just talking them through it, taking them through what went wrong.
And another fact here is that Gambit, or Moscow 5, have never been knocked out of an Intel Extreme Masters event. Not ever.
Ever.
They won
Every
Kiev,
time they come, they win.
won CBIT, and they won Gamescom as well, which obviously was the European regionals, but also counted towards Intel Extreme Masters. They've never lost an Intel Extreme Masters event. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen today, for honest.
Is that going to be an omen? That's the question.
And to think that they were so close. I mean, if they didn't do the double Bloodthirster super rush to finish the game at the end of the group stage, they wouldn't have even won the tiebreaker to make it into the semifinal.
So, without further ado, let's get over to our expert desk of Panky and Jason. But, I love you, Kaplan.
Just had to get that in somewhere, Devin. Just had to. Anyways, what
See the grin on his face.
Anyways, what a performance out of Gambit Gaming, taking the first game in this best of 3 for the grand finals, and it was a surrender.
It was. I mean, it doesn't surprise me as a surrender. It was very one-sided at that point, and they did exactly what you know Gambit for: aggression. Aggression, constantly just ganking, double killing bottom lane, counter ganking bottom lane, Evelyn roaming. That's what she needed to be doing. That's why she's been banned in so many games. That's why she's so terrifying. We never really saw it in the other games she played. They sat there and they farmed a lot. They went late game, they tried to team fight it. Aleja roamed all over the map, top lane, bottom lanes. There was no wards anywhere because Azubu just couldn't afford to put them there. And those that were, they were pink warded out by Edward. He got those 3 kills early, but he didn't have that many items because everything was in pink wards. He just spent all that gold. There was no vision at all for Azubu, and that allowed Alex to go wherever he wanted. And with a little bit of help from Genja, who was very farmed and very fed after being so aggressive at level 2 and bullying Captain Jack from the start, they managed to pick off almost anyone they wanted to.
Yeah, we actually have a replay for you guys, and it is pretty much the exact same thing we saw against Frost in game number 2. They got that early game on the bottom lane, and from that they snowballed the entire time. Panky, why don't you set us up and show us this replay?
Yeah, it's 5 minutes. It's the first blood. Captain Jack and Lustyboy actually start the aggression, start heading down towards Genja and Edward, start pulling them off towards the bottom turret because of that teleport in from Ryze in the mid lane. But quick reactions from Diamond Prox, quick reactions from Alex Hidge, counter gank it, and with a quick turnaround once they reach the turret, they managed to pick up a first blood double kill.
And we do have to point out how quick they were to notice that teleport in that river, or in the river, because they couldn't actually see it with a ward, but obviously someone was looking in that direction.
Yeah, and obviously those wards become visible now when you teleport on them too, so that they do see that, they knew it was coming. Ryze had just recalled to base, he was full health, he just shopped, he was very as strong as he could be at that point. Alex pushed that lane into the mid turret very, very quickly once he left, and immediately started coming down towards the bottom lane.
Yeah, so let's get this replay up on the screen for you guys just to show you exactly what happened here and pretty much what decided the game for Gambit Gaming.
There's that teleport, and they were immediately running backwards there. Pink ward goes into the bush from Lustyboy to make sure they have vision of Edward, but yes, a quick exhaust down onto Ambition from Genja. The ignite going onto Ambition from Edward too shows they had that communication that, okay, Edward was being initiated on, but Genja's like, I can get an Ambition, put your ignite on him, I can do the damage, and it turns him around straight away. He started out full health, but he is immediately the first one to fall back on the lowest health. Captain Jack then went a little bit too deep, but Genja managed to come in forward. Diamond coming up from the Wraith camp, got in there at the last second with that cleaver to pick up the first blood. Evelyn all the way down the river now, down behind this triad bush, gets out there quick and early, locks them in there behind the turret. If they had tried to run all the way back, she could have chased them. They stayed under the turret. Instead, they waited for the creeps to get up and take the initial aggro. Genja then takes one more and immediately backs away. Alex starts to then come in. One quick hate spike, one quick E. That's enough what he needed. Sona there with the last little hit. Lustyboy did have his flash. He managed to get out because they focused down Ryze. But that's the more important target. Taking down that AP carry, taking down the AD carry early is more important than chasing that support all the way up the lane and risking giving away those other kills for nothing.
Yeah, and then we had the huge CS discrepancy between the two AD carries. I mean, Ezreal sitting on 164 farm to the 118 farm of Kog'Maw, and you can't really do that much damage early game with the Kog'Maw until you, I mean, yeah, you have the Nuna for the attack speed, but you kind of need that Infinity's Edge combo with the Found Dancer, even like a Last Whisper, to really tear the other team down. We do, actually, going to the scoreboard real quick, we have, just to give you an idea of what exactly happened, I mean, Alex Edge 4-0-4. We had Diamond Prox 1-0-2, Darien 1-1-3, the only death for his team, and Genja 2-0-7, and Edward 3-0-4, the support.
Yeah.
The second best score on the team.
That's everything about Edward. I mean, next thing they did, it was the Dragon was the next big play. So at this point, we saw Jack and Lustyboy come back to lane, went back and spent that 3 kills worth, that first kills worth of gold on Sona. Then we saw Gosu Pepper or Edward come back down and help Genja in the back of the lane. They've got Lustyboy and Captain Jack locked under that turret again, starving them from CS as best they can. Genja doing most of this solo before Edward returned. Pushed them in there, and then an immediate response from Diamond Prox and Alex. They'd barely been back in the lane, and then making their way down towards bottom again. There's no wards because they'd all turned down from early on. They haven't had a chance to place anymore, and they go straight in behind the turret for another double kill, which opens up one of the earliest dragons of the tournament so far.
Yeah, and notice, actually, we did see Edward go for a door and shield because he needed extra help. He wasn't going to go for that sidestone like we were talking about earlier. He wanted those pink wards down. Let's go ahead and get this replay on the screen for you guys just so we can show you how this little fight developed.
So you see Captain Jack at the front, Lustyboy's taken low from the original poke that he tried to block. Heads back towards that tri-bush, but in actual fact he just was in closer to Alex, who's just got his ultimate, flashes over the wall, lands that ult on both of them, gives himself a shield, allows him to tank the turret, do a lot of damage to both, and Genja is left there to wail away on both those squishy targets. Fortunately, Edward takes the final hits, but the kills are the kills, and it does open up that dragon, does give him a massive advantage, and that really put Captain Jack out of the game. He never really got back into it from that point, and it just shut him down.
Yeah, well, I mean, Alex, he's been so key in pretty much all the games today. Kha'Zix was amazing. His Rise was amazing. As you saw here, his Evelyn was fantastic. Do you need to ban his champions out against him?
You have to ban some of them because they are so powerful, but you cannot ban him out completely. That's the best thing about all these top players. There are so many viable champions now. They are so good at this game. They're so good at everything. You cannot ban them out completely. You just have to pick and choose those important ones, and sometimes some slip through the crack.
Yeah, well, guys, we'll be back very shortly, back to the extras desk for the game number 2, but right now we're going to go ahead and go over to the stage.
Okej, słuchajcie, zrobimy teraz bardzo szybkie, Piotrek, zaznaczam, bardzo szybkie rafelki, czyli kolejne rozdanie. For you guys watching us on stream, go to Twitter account, hashtag IEM or hashtag Riot Codes, answer one simple question, which is your favorite team and why? It's Gambit Gaming.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Thank you,
That's pretty much it. Piotrek, go.
No więc dzisiaj wspaniałe emocje, mamy finały, ja tutaj usiadłem koło koleżanki. Koleżanka jak ma na imię?
Dorota.
Bardzo miło, Dorota. Przyjechałaś na Sosnowca, jak już mówiłaś, tak? Wiesz, mam dla ciebie... Ale Dorota ma dla nas niespodziankę. Dorota bawi się w poematy i wymyśliła dla nas fajny wierszyk. Możesz powiedzieć?
Jasne. Otóż wierszyk jest o Ramusie. Jest bardzo krótki i brzmi tak. Hard Ramus, spiky Ramus, little ball of snow, which is never gonna say you no, no, no.
Za ten wierszyk otrzymujesz oczywiście ode mnie czapeczkę i kodzik. A tutaj mam jeszcze pytanie do dwóch koledzy. Na kogo dzisiaj stawiacie?
Na Koreańców.
Czyli na Azubu, jak rozumiem, tak?
Tak, powiedzmy.
A kolega?
Dla Gambit Gaming.
Czyli mamy... Dobrze, dlatego mam dla was takie nagrody mini, czyli macie do mnie po smyczce i po kodzie. A w razie, gdyby nie spełniły się marzenia o wygranej, to dostaniecie jeszcze po pomarańczce na otarcie łez. Dzięki śliczne. Wracam do ciebie, Tadeuszu.
Że jesteśmy już jeszcze tutaj. Paul ma kilka słów. Go, Paul.
That's crazy. Free codes, of course. Don't forget #IEM, #Riot Codes. Only do it on Twitter. Don't do it in Twitch chat. It bugs the admins and the moderators. Please don't do that. We also have a very special Skype call coming up with our friends in Cologne. That's coming up very shortly. But first, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll resume the grand final for League of Legends.